Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. Now, I'm going to be talking about Formula E all week, but I thought I'd check in and talk about IndyCar for a bit, because it took me a couple of days, but I have finally watched the Nashville round of the IndyCar Championship. Brilliant race. It had a bridge. That's all that's necessary to keep me happy. More motorsport with bridges, please. Great track. Really liked it. Very, very tight, though, and there was a lot of incidents. And the IndyCar Championship has probably been the second most exciting championship of 2021, only behind Formula E, and only because Formula E is mental. IndyCar is actually probably the more sensible of the two. That being said, this was a great race. Really enjoyed watching it, and we're going to talk about some of the main talking points from the race. So, remember to subscribe, and let's begin.
Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
As I said, the best thing about this race was there was a bridge. I love it. That's great. More bridges. It was a really good bridge as well, which is cool. Very, very narrow street circuit. And there were a lot of safety cars. I think 9. Did we get to 9 in the end? It was 8 or 9. There was a couple of red flags as well. Loads of crashes. It was a very, very stop-starty kind of race, which isn't always the best, but this was still fun enough to get away with it. But it did slow, like, it's hard to get into something when it stops every 5 minutes because someone's hit the wall. I mean, it's necessary on a street circuit because obviously everything gets clogged up, which we saw. But I don't know how to improve that. They may need to make it a bit wider, just to have a few less incidents, but you know, in motorsport you can't really tell. You could run the exact same race next year and have no safety cars and everyone's fine. So it wasn't an awful race anyway. So Dalton Kellett was the first. He got left behind at the start with a mechanical issue. That brought out the first safety car because he couldn't clear his car off the circuit. Just as they were going green, Marcus Ericsson ramped over Sebastian Bourdais. Really, really impressive that he managed to continue. And, you know, considering that he won the race, he was at the back, damaged, with a 10-second stop-go penalty. Honestly, how he didn't retire, how he didn't end up rolling it, going over the front like that. I don't know how he did it, but it was a miracle for Marcus Ericsson. Very, very impressive crash as well. That brought out the second safety car. Then we had Scott Mclaughlin being hit by Ed Jones. This wouldn't be the last time Scott Mclaughlin would be spun round at this race. But he got stuck, but he did get going. But they had to bring out the safety car because he couldn't quite swing it round. So that's number 3. Then it was Will Power hit Simon Pagenaud, his teammate. Pagenaud ended up into the wall. I think someone else drove into him. And I think Jimmy Johnson got involved. There's a few cars that actually got damaged. But they also blocked up the track. So that brought out the red flag. Number 1. That saw the end of Jimmy Johnson. I thought it was Renus VK. Maybe, I can't remember. But yeah, definitely Jimmy Johnson, because Jimmy Johnson was out of the race at that point. And we had the red flag. So we had the 4th safety car at the restart. Scott Mclaughlin actually had a really interesting race, because, as I said, that wasn't the only time he spun. I think he got spun twice, neither were his fault. He almost spun it on the bridge, but managed to save it. It was a really awesome save. That's worth watching. If you can find that, watch that save. A save of the season, honestly. Great. Not a great race for him, though. But yeah, so that one was fine. VK, who had just come on the track, he might not have taken a start, so it probably wasn't him who crashed. He was about 7 laps down anyway. He came out, and I think a lap later ended up into the wall. That brought out safety car number 5. Due to the pit stops, there was a lot of confusion with the pit stops because Colton Herta was moaning about a line, transponder lines, and he should have been in front. But after the pit stops, Marcus Ericsson was now in the lead with Scott Dixon, Ryan Hunter-Reay, James Hinchcliffe, Colton Herta behind it. But Colton Herta had been dominant all weekend. He was flying at this track. And he got through the field quickly. Alexander Rossi was following him as well through the field, made a couple of really good overtakes. Did not have a great race. But we had a few laps of Marcus Ericsson holding off Colton Herta. And then Scott McLaughlin got spun round by Will Power. This is the second time Scott McLaughlin has been spun round. It's also the second person Will Power has spun round. Dalton Kellett had nowhere to go. He crashed as well. So we had 2 cars in the track. That was safety car number 6. At the restart, Patricia O'Ward and Rossi made contact and hit the wall, and I think O'Ward stalled. That was safety car number 7. We're nearing the end of the race now. And Marcus Ericsson is still leading, but Colton Herta is right behind him. They're having a great battle. Really, really tight. Cody Ware was the next one to spin all on his own. He had actually made some progress. He was like 8th place because of a pit stop strategy. But he spun and, that brought out safety car number 8 because he stalled it. Then we had Pagenaud hit the wall. This has not been a good season for Simon Pagenaud. He's a great driver, but he's not had a good season. He hit the wall. Around the same time, Colton Herta almost stuffed it as well. I think Pagenaud did get going again. He made contact with someone. Romain Grosjean. Romain Grosjean sort of... It was the lightest of touches. It was like Romain Grosjean tried to pull out a move and just caught him. Pagenaud bounced into the wall and damaged his rear right wheel. So he was out of the race. I think Grosjean got a penalty as well. That did not bring out a safety car. Colton Herta, there was a couple of times where he was getting close to Ericsson, and he made, it wasn't necessarily a move, but he lost, when you're following a car in front of you, lose downforce. It looked like he was just getting a bit messy behind him. Then with 6 laps left to go, I think he'd already made one mistake and dropped back a bit. Herta, who had been amazing all weekend, stuffed it into the wall. It was such a disappointing end to the race. That brought out the red flags because I think he damaged the wall as well. And that meant Marcus Ericsson won his 2nd race of the season and is absolutely high flying. I was actually kind of devastated for Colton Herta just because he had been so good the whole race up to that point. But, Marcus Ericsson, a man who I have called a soggy lump of porridge more than once. I honestly didn't think he was very good. This year, he has been amazing. I think he's still 5th in the championship, but he's only about, I think it was 70 or 80 points off the top. Might even be less than that. So he has a chance to be champion because he finished 4 drivers above him. Alex Palou had a bad race. He got caught out by one of the safety cars and ended up near the back. I think it was the first red flag actually, because I don't think he could get through. But he did work his way back up to 8th, I think. So he scored okay points. Patty Ward didn't have a great race. I think he was down in 12th at the end. Scott Dixon was up in 2nd. And, Dixon's always there somewhere. Is that all of them? Alex Palou, Patty Ward, Scott Dixon. There's someone else. I can't think who. Who is the other person? Joseph Newgarden? Joseph Newgarden didn't have a great race. I think he was 10th. I can't remember. But yeah, so Marcus Ericsson, really, really good season. As for the front runners in the championship, it's still really, really close. I think Scott Dixon has moved up to 2nd now, and he's only 30 points off Alex Palou. Whoever wins, it's been a great championship, and I think IndyCar has really hit a balance between great racing, unpredictability, just general excitement race by race. It's almost a perfect series. And we've got some great tracks coming up as well, because obviously it ends in Laguna Seca and Long Beach. And we're going back to Indianapolis again as well. So there's a few really big races coming up. Only 5 left in the championship. It's still really tight at the front. I would say it's between the top 5. Graham Rahal is having the season of his life in 6th. He's not too far behind, but I can't imagine Graham Rahal getting any closer than he is. And it's already been a great championship for him. There's a few big names who have not had great year. Will Power has really struggled this year. Simon Pagenaud's not had a great year. There's probably others. In terms of the rookies, Scott McLaughlin I think is still lead rookie. And But him and Romain Grosjean, they haven't necessarily had consistent results. And they've had a few good results between them. But honestly, they've done a pretty good job for their rookie year. If they keep going, I mean, Marcus Ericsson's on his 3rd or 4th year, and look at him, he's like an actual championship contender with 2 wins behind him. Felix Rosenquist is another one I've been disappointed by this year, because I think he's really good, and he's really struggled as well. So there's a few drivers there. Other than that, I think Jimmy Johnson is maybe not cut out for IndyCar. I don't think there's anything wrong in just admitting that it's not your thing and just stepping away. But another interesting rookie coming in, actually, Christian Lingard of Formula 2 fame will be racing in the Indianapolis round instead of Santino Ferrucci, I think, for some reason. I think it was Rahal Letterman, I can't remember, but it's one of the teams, obviously. But yeah, Christian Lingard will be at the next round. Don't know how he's going to do, because he's a fantastic young driver. This is a weird move, but you know what? Why not? It's some experience for him, and he is a good driver, so it'll be interesting to see how he does next time. It's this weekend. We haven't even got that long to wait. So yeah, I'll wrap it up and say, you know, Nashville was fantastic. I loved the bridge. IndyCar has been really great. Anyway, yeah, so this was fun. I enjoyed watching this. It's a shame I did it so late, but IndyCar has been great this year. I'm really glad I've been paying a bit more attention than I normally do. And, you know, I think it's got a really good future. I think, honestly, every driver on the field is pretty good. There's not many like drivers I would call dead weight. Maybe Jimmy Johnson, maybe Dalton Kellett, and that's probably because Cody Ware as well, I suppose. Like, they're the 3 people in this race who you would automatically say have no chance of winning. Everyone else, like if Ed Jones won, I wouldn't be that surprised. Sebastian Bourdais, he's done it in the past. Will Power, you know, Simon Pagenaud. Loads of drivers who are at the back have won IndyCar races, or done well in IndyCar, or been good IndyCar drivers. So it's a really high quality field. The racing is great. This championship is going to have a great end to it, no matter who wins. At this stage, I'll probably say Scott Dixon, because Scott Dixon always seems to win. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe. Really getting close to 500 now. Really, really quickly getting subscribers every week. Very, very happy with progress. So make sure you hit that button. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.